Today on Nanyang Spectrum, we bring you snippets from NTU's Open House 2012.
Next, we learn how to save lives from NTU's chapter of the Red Cross Youth.
Also, Muse visits a street dance maestro for some sleek moves.
Hello and welcome to Nanyang Spectrum. I'm Cynthia.
And I'm Teoman. And today we have a great lineup. Let's start with one of NTU's biggest events of the year. And it all happened on a Saturday.
On a Saturday? Isn't it a little dead at Pulau NTU on a Saturdays?
Well, Cynthia, not on the 10th of March. NTU was having its annual open house to attract students to join the university. This was just a week after the A-level results were released. Here's what happened.
The NTU Open House is an annual event that displays the NTU spirit, the entire university working together as one to promote the institution. The campus was bustling with activities, talks, dance competitions, and band performances. These events give prospective students and their parents an insight to student life at NTU. That's not all work and no play.
Target audience are basically like those JC students and actually poly students as well, and hopefully entice them to come to NTU after visiting our awesome CCA performances and stage games, and let them experience NTU culture.
But behind the fun and games, there was a serious purpose. Enrolling in an undergraduate degree means dedicating between 3 to 5 years of their lives to the university. Not surprisingly, prospective students wanted to find out as much as they can before they sign on the dotted line.
I think the events are well planned because we have enough time to move from here to there, and we can attend almost every course talk. I like it because there are a lot of undergrads here. They can share their experience with us, so we can know those their self-experience. So we can ask them any question and they can answer us very well.
My opinion of NTU has changed after coming to the open house because firstly the campus is much bigger than expected. Secondly, the people here are much more outgoing and friendly.
The open house was a huge success, managing to attract a throng of visitors. However, this would not have been possible if not for the hard work and effort put in by the organisers and volunteers.
Preparations started all the way in last year in August, where we started recruiting our organising committee. Real preparations for all those where we actually plan all the routes and external buses and shuttle bus routes actually intensified in December last year.
So actually we took about 1 week to prepare everything, and we stayed back till quite late yesterday night. What really motivates me for this open house is that for the past few years I've been volunteering myself for the open house. So I take it as a great exposure and a great chance to interact with prospective students, and share my life in NTU.
Whether or not the NTU Open House has been a success, only time will tell. However, credit goes out to the hardworking student volunteers and ambassadors for making this event possible. This is Isaac E. reporting for Nanyang Spectrum.
Okay, it's competition time, and you have the chance to win a 911 Porsche, Lamborghini, and Bentley all rolled up in one. All you have to do is win Wheel of Fortune, which incidentally we don't have. What we do have are movie tickets, which are way more valuable.
Now, since you've seen our last story on the open house, the question is, on what date was the NTU open house held this year? Again, on what date was the NTU open house held this year?
Please send us your answer to ntu.spectrum.tv@gmail.com. Once again, that is ntu.spectrum.tv@gmail.com.
Speaking of annual events, I know that Red Cross NTU chapter just held theirs.
It's called One Life Saved. The event teaches you all sorts of useful first aid skills.
First aid officially started in 1863 in Geneva and was born out of treating battlefield injuries. From then, it developed into the organization that we see today. Though still effective in war zones, it is equally important in helping people to save a life.
One Life Save is an annual life-saving event held on campus, organized by the Red Cross Youth NTU chapter. The organization hopes to raise awareness about the importance of first aid and to equip NTU students with basic first aid skills and knowledge. If properly applied, first aid can prevent further injury before professional medical help arrives.
The injuries we cover in One Life Save is CPR, bleeding, heat exhaustions, bruise and wound, sprain and cramp.
NTU students will be able to learn both theoretical first aid concepts and watch practical demonstrations by student volunteers. There are also fun and games which allow participants to appreciate first aid better through active learning.
The thing that I most enjoy is when I can do the race with my friends and do something together, the unity.
I really enjoy the hands-on practice of all those skills that I've heard about, and I've read about them, but it's just very different when you do it because you have to pay so much attention to detail, which the instructions will never tell you about. Yeah.
No one can predict when an emergency would happen. Every moment in a crisis is precious, and a matter of a few seconds can mean the difference between life and death. This event hopes to equip more NTU students with these critical life-saving skills.
I think this workshop is very useful, and that will help the NTU students to know more about the first aid. I think I will be more confident than before if someone is injured now to do the first aid.
If you are interested in learning first aid skills, do contact NTU Red Cross or Google First Aid Courses in Singapore. This is Hui Jie reporting for Nanyang Spectrum.
Hey Cynthia, you know when all that first aid stuff would come in handy? When you want to go mountain climbing. Have you ever been mountain climbing?
Not really. I hate to sweat and I don't like the sun.
No problem, you won't be sweating like hell or burning in the sun. Mountain climbing has now become an indoor activity. This is all thanks to a company called Border X.
Got the urge to rock climb in Orchard while shopping? Or want to experience the thrill of rock climbing without hardcore training? Border Cross is the solution to your problems. In Border Cross, there are two types of mountain sports available. On the right is Via Ferrata, which means Iron Way in Italian. And on the left is Wall for rock climbing.
For Via Ferrata, what you're going to be built on is actually on steel cables that will be connected alongside you all the way up to the top. And for that, the equipment is different, the style of climbing is different, and also it's much more easier in the sense that you can rest at any point of time compared to other rock climbing. This is not a very tough spot, it's very easy. What we have here is actually catered to everyone. The public will be actually spotting every mistake you might have or made, so we will correct you along the way. That's what you want to do. Why don't you shift to your left? The main restriction is your age restriction. You just have to be above 12 to be able to do this. We have two ways to come down. One is there'll be a lift at the back. Alternatively, we have this other activity, we call that abseiling. There's not really much of a risk, except that if you're really unable to complete the climb, we will use a rescue bag and it will lower you down from where you are.
If you have an interest in rock climbing but afraid it's too risky, this is definitely the place you should go. This is Ong Min Lee reporting for Nanyang Spectrum.